Betting on sports can be hard, but hiring Morgan & Morgan is easy. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/bestbets or dial pound law, pound 529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/bestbets. This is a paid advertisement.
The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 2 of a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network. VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. However you're taking us in, we appreciate it. It's Gill Alexander, Kelly Midland alongside as well. Bill Krackomberger hanging out here momentarily. Real quick before we get to Bill, we get tweets at Beatty the Book. Always appreciate it. Birdie Bets. Big 7-week stretch for your Steelers futures. My Steelers season wins, you mean. My hope is you have some Steelers division in pocket just in case. I do not have any Steelers division in pocket. It's not going to happen, I think. This is from Jack Larkin. Oh, Jack Larkin from Sport Trade. He says, don't forget about, he's quoting me because I said don't forget about Sport Trade earlier. He says where you can get 27,000 down on the Commanders +4 at -106 and the Eagles -4 at -104 tonight. So Jack Larkin with a little plug for Sport Trade. Jason Stark, Steelers fan, also on Steph at 50-1. Steph Curry over there at FanDuel. He just added that. Let's go, he says. And then Why So Serious says, is that a numbers game special investigation report that Steph is the most beloved athlete in all of sports? It is a special numbers game investigation, and that's who we came up with because I can't really think of anybody else. I really can't. Who's more universally beloved in American team sports than the great Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors? Chris Heath, as Chrissy would put it, you're only left with your library card if you don't back Kansas this week. That's exactly right. That was Chrissy's way of saying they take away your sharp card, apparently, if you don't bet on Kansas this week. And I get it. Like I said, I get it. BYU just cheating death, if you will, each and every time out there, it seems. But -2.5, I might be with Zach. I might be on BYU as well when all is said and done. Which brings us to our Thursday special event, as always. Unscripted with the crack man, Bill Krackomberger. I like the remix here. This little part right here with the keys. What up, Billy?
Hey, good morning.
How are you, sir?
How we doing? Okay.
I'm doing great.
Speaking of Chris and the South Point, I just want to mention them one more time for Monday, giving away a buffet, 2 buffets to every single veteran and their family.
They do that every year. Yes.
And it was really nice that they did that. It was a really, I took a video of it and put it up on Twitter. Wow.
The line. I didn't even see your video.
Oh, okay.
But that line, for those who are familiar with the South Point, the buffet, and for those who are not, our studio used to be right in the middle. Their studio is right in the middle there. And the buffet is sort of behind the studio. That buffet line wraps around the entire casino floor there. Like it
went past the front desk.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely
went past the front desk.
Past the front desk video, past the front desk, all the way around around the studio, round the poker room to the buffet. It was about a 2.5 hour wait.
Shout out to the South Point.
But it was nice. And you know what else they did? They passed around. They had a big cart of waters, giving out waters to everyone online.
While people wait.
While people waited. Who else does anything like that in the casino business? Not just Las Vegas. Individually owned, Michael Gone, individually owned casino. Of course, in the corporate world, this would never happen. Never. Someone upstairs that has their nice degree on the wall would say, "Oh my God, we can't do that."
Ugh.
Not realizing that
bean counters, they're like, yeah.
Brand loyalty means so much to people, and people will remember that. And the South Point loses $1.5 million a month, $1.5 million a month on food in their casinos. And that's just not because I go there.
The ultimate, rim shot.
Yeah, myself.
The ultimate loss leader, as they say in business, their food.
I don't know if other casinos do that, though. That's the way it used to be a decade ago. Now this non-gaming revenue is 65% in some of these corporations. So, but the South Point's old school, baby.
But it's Derek Stevens here at Circa deserves a shout too. Derek Stevens is in that Michael Gaughan mode. I hope Derek will take that as a compliment, in that they always seem to have the perfect touch with everything that they do. But you're right. If you're corporate owned, right? If it's, if you're constantly following your stock price, you're not like that. But the way that they manage their empires, and I think that's not an overstatement, is just a beautiful thing to observe. And Michael Gaughan is the OG of that over at South Point, where he's very involved in stuff, right? The reason that they don't, raise the juice is because he just on lines, right?
Yes.
They move from -3 to -3.5. They don't
Yes.
go -3, -150 or whatever. It's because Michael Gaughan wants that to be the case up top. But you're right. They lose money on food. But it's free parking also, right? There's certain things where he's like, nope, the people should at least have these things. And his employees, again, we talk about Steph Curry being universally beloved, Michael Gaughan universally beloved.
I'm there 2-3 nights a week, and it's packed. I was there yesterday. Wednesday, typical slowest day, right in the middle of the week. Place just amazes me because the rest of the town is pretty dead right now. Before the holiday time, it seems like the week or two leading up to Thanksgiving and Christmas, it always is a slower time in Las Vegas, even though the rodeo comes in next month. But yet, yet that place is always packed.
And there's going to be a lot of people who are listening who are not even familiar with the South Point. The South Point is, the Strip is largely considered, the south part of the Strip is considered to be Mandalay Bay. But if you go due south, what is it, like another few miles?
Yep.
You run into this gold, structure, which is called the South Point. You can't miss it. And it's just a fascinating place because I remember when we first started, when VSiN first started and we started there, I remember just thinking to myself, I was like, if you had told me that a casino caters to cowboys and bowlers and archers. Like you walk, there is
the archery thing is unbelievable.
Oh my God.
I walk around and say, look at these kids. They have these killer arch, bows and arrows
walking around.
They
could kill you on the drop of a dime.
Instant.
Yes. But at the South Point, all goes.
Yeah.
It's like, sure. Have your way at it.
It is.
Hey, go ahead. I'm sorry, you were about to say something.
No, I'm just going to say, and speaking of that, how slower we get during holiday time, when I get a chance, I say this every year on this show and all shows I do. Very important for people to know that, since I lost my parents, I always tell people about that. The holiday time is so different for me now. I never realized that my old-fashioned Italian mother, she was the reason, she was the glue that held the family together. And I realize now that she's gone, I took it for granted every year, having, that time. And I'll tell you right now, take time with your families this holiday season, please. So even Thanksgiving, where we used to, you understand, this is a family my mother had, this crazy gambling family. It was games were on in the background. Okay, give me the bird, But towards the end, I actually made sure that the TV was turned down, the volume was off, Christmas music was put on, holiday music was put on in the background. Take that time. Enjoy your family. You only have them for so many years, so many holidays together, especially if you're across the miles. Take that time to realize what you have there, and don't pass up on opportunities to ask your loved ones questions about, their past holidays, how they met as kids. And I learned more things the last year when my mom was alive than I ever did before, because someone else took the time to tell me this. So I'm telling you that. Take the time with the family. I know it's not really sports related, but maybe it is too, to turn that TV down. I know there's a lot of games on Thanksgiving Day, and turn the TV down and just enjoy the time with the family and friends.
Very, very, I can relate to those words very much, and those are great words of wisdom for everybody. We usually go unscripted here, but you know what Kelly did?
What do you do?
He actually wrote down a few things that he thinks he was like, I wonder if we could ask these questions. Talking about gaming here. Ready? Best, quickest way to build up rewards points at a casino. Ready for this? Are there some places that it's easier to build up points faster than others? For example, Caesars versus Stations.
Yes. You would want to go on days that they have the multipliers. So Stations has multipliers a couple days a week, I think. So you'd want to go when it's, I think Stations has 6 times, 10 times, 6 times for video poker, 10 times reels. You want to stay with the video poker too. Reels, you're talking double-digit house edge, even though it is local properties. So I think you want to stay with those particular kind of days. You want to go on those days. However, Caesars has multiple times a year. You know who's better for this, Fez? Because his life is dedicated to banging Caesars out of these multiple. They have the point multipliers.
Yeah.
You know, they really don't do it in Vegas too much, but he found the day they did it here. It's more Atlantic City and other destinations that they'll have your, like whatever it's called, tier credits to build up yours to diamond status and even 7-star status. Here, I think he went to Lake Tahoe here, and they had some 10-time or 20-time multiple, which is, you can get 40,000. In other words, if you get 4,000 points, you get 40,000. You're already more than a quarter of the way to the 7-star status just in one trip. And it's not really that hard to get 4,000 points, especially if you're playing bonus machine, walking around, doing the little bonus whoring machines, which is really a big thing right now in a lot of the casinos. But just playing those positive EV games, you're actually be able to, spend a day or two during that multiplier and be able to get that status. Very good.
Yeah, and that was the next question. Is there one or two places that the benefits of being in the higher tiers just makes them the only ones that really matter? For example, Fezzik in love with Caesars Rewards.
Oh, that's it.
He sniffs out those deals,
yes,
no matter where they are in the state of Nevada.
Yeah, but, again, the 7-star card, I even though it's worth a lot for him because he goes to the gym over at Caesars. He uses the gym there. So that's why I don't even speak to anyone named Jim because of that, but he goes to the gym over there. And, in Atlantic City, I said it before, Harrah's, Caesar, especially Harrah's, they have the 7-star lounges. Oh my God. Off highest, you can go to the high tier liquor. You eat off a menu, steaks, prime rib, unbelievable. And you can go 3-4 nights a week sometimes and for free with the 7-star card. So
all right,
worth a lot there.
We'll ask a couple more of these after the break. Okay. One regarding free play. Why does it change so much at different times of the year? The other sort of talking about, comp points and why it's different depending on what you're betting. A lot of sports bettors found this out the hard way. We'll get to that and more. Unscripted with the Crack Man, Bill Krackomberger, right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Are you the type of players looking to get down $10,000 or more on an NFL line at the best price in the market? Or perhaps you're looking to get your in-game play instantly accepted? Introducing Sport Trade, the app that's going to change sports betting forever. Minus 104 lines instead of the typical minus 110. Instant in-game betting and a concierge player service. Sport Trade, perfect for those who want a premium betting experience. Sport Trade live now in New Jersey, Colorado, Iowa, Arizona, and Virginia. Download Sport Trade. Use code VSiN to earn 10% cash back on each wager in your first week. Terms apply. Got to be 21 years or older to play, though. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. It's Gill Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. This is from Paul Zhang. Billy, well said about the holidays, he says. Thank you for that.
You, Paul. Shades
of Mako. Quoting me saying, anything goes at the South Point. And then he says, cue the image of an archery kid sticking up Crackman for the Kangol. It's true. Yeah. It's true. By the way, the first time we saw that, these massive bows, I don't know if bow is the correct archery term for these things, but you're like, oh my God.
I was shocked.
Just walking around.
Just walking around. I mean, everywhere.
9-year-olds walking around.
That's what little kids everywhere, yeah.
Get the money racing at Front Rep. Says, being a horse player, the South Point is the only location that takes care of me. Also has sportsbook and horsebook separated, which is incredible. We'll be there for traditional trip for opening day at Santa Anita Park on the 26th. Brian Morianen, feels like Kelly Bidlin is out here trying to reinvent the wheel. You guys going to be sponsored by Noah's Arcade next? Maybe see Bill Krackomberger in some fuchsia? I think he's upset that Kelly had some questions. But then Mike K has the other side. He says, like the casino tier credit talk with Bill, as always.
I like the questions.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well, let me give you a couple more of these because this is stuff that we've talked about through the years on the show. But it's a good thing for us to sort of go back and not assume that everybody has heard these things. So this is one, and Kelly points out he knows the answer, but he thinks it's a good question to ask. Do table games, slots, sports, do they all count the same when it comes to casino comps?
Oh, boy. I wish sports counted like that.
So do I.
Yeah. As much as I love Circa, even over here, they penalize me for being a sharp winning gambler. I get like 1/10 of what Joe Public gets for points at the sports book. Where other sports books take care of me, to be honest with you.
Caesars is the best, I think, with sports.
They used to be.
They used to be. Before they had that change.
Yes, they changed over. I think the best is South Point and Westgate. I go in there and literally I say, how much money do I have? And I have like thousands of dollars built up on my account. Here I'm looking for a ham sandwich. But I'll tell you, now that you say that though too, Fez also has he talked about it many times, and I do agree with him. He talks about going into a casino and when you're playing craps or blackjack or any games about rat-holing chips. Boy, that sounds like a bad word.
Yeah, it does.
Rat-holing.
It does.
I'll just say pocketing chips.
Yeah.
There was a scene from Let It Ride where in the movie Richard Dreyfuss, my life's based on 25 movies. Every quote for a movie, like Fez. But anyway, yeah. So
all before the year 1984.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you're playing craps, first of all, you want a slow-moving game. So you want a slow-moving game where you're going to get less decisions per hour. Therefore, when they do the theoretical and your rating, it still rates you as a regular speed game. And you want to actually show a loss. So you'll actually take some chips and put them in your pocket that are in play. Now, you don't want to, get $2,000 in chips and get 15 black chips, if it's $100 chips, and start pocketing black chips if no one else at the table has black chips. Because then they know it's you. There's 50 black chips. So you want to pocket the chips that are in play, which is easy to do. Let me tell you something. I've done that. I've done it with quarters, and I've literally weighed myself down even more with, quarter $25 chips having $1,000 in quarters. Now, I'm doing it for a reason, though. You don't want to do it if you're getting a rebate on your losses, because that would be creating false losses, which could be even illegal in some places. So you don't want to do that. That's not the situation here for 99.99% of people. They're just getting chips because they want to show a loss to get a little bit more. It's much easier to get comps if you're a losing player than if you're a winning player. And I don't care what the executives tell you. Oh, no, we go by the theoretical, what you could lose to us. Bull. That's absolutely wrong. If it's much easier to give you a comp at your level of play, you could take me and Gill, and let's say Gill played for 4 hours and I played for 4 hours. Gill won 2,000. I lost 2,000. I'm going to get the better comp. So that's the way it is. It's just a perception thing. And hosts have the right to write comps that are called exception comps. They're like, the computer tells you can write $38 in comps. The host can write you a $100 comp. So the host, it's all in his hands or her hands. And but they have to have common sense and street smarts. I want to deal with a host that knows what it is to lose a paycheck. And I want to deal with a male host mostly. I don't want to deal with a female host that's never gambled before, that makes sure her nails are polished and she comes to work and looks pretty for the office and then goes home and doesn't ever gamble. I want someone that knows what it is to lose a paycheck and knows what it is to be in our shoes being a gambler.
JC on Twitter says, what's the average bet for hotels on the Strip that gets you comps? I bet a pretty decent size, 500 to 1,000 per hand on blackjack or baccarat, and I get comps. But if I were to bet 50 to 100, would I get comps too?
Yes. I think as long as you're showing that loss, that means almost more than anything. I believe that's just the way I feel. I feel if you will get it, no matter what property it is. Listen, you're going to get taken care of at local properties a little bit better. And you're probably going to get taken care. I say probably because I really don't know, but I'm just thinking common sense. I think you get taken care of a little bit better downtown, than the Strip property, than the big, MGM Mirage resorts, the big Caesars resorts. I think they should take care of you a little bit better at the local properties. I think they do, actually. Of course, the local properties, but even downtown areas. So know your players. I mean, know your casino, but also real important. People always feel maybe they don't deserve a host. That's absolutely not true. We talked about that on the show.
Everyone deserves a host.
Everyone deserves a host.
Yeah.
You're in a casino gambling. Absolutely get yourself a casino host. Just go right to the host desk, introduce yourself. Also, compliment them on something. Compliment them on their tie, their shirt, their whatever it may be. You don't have to like it. You're just trying to get over a little bit, to be honest with you.
Brian M.
Make it feel good.
My question is if two people are in the same tier, one is Bill, the other is just some guy who bets a lot but isn't sharp, are the books required to issue the same credits? I think you just said no.
No, yeah. No. They really are not. It depends. It goes from book to book. But yes, you're right. I forgot. Seizures was the best one for a while.
It was.
They were the best one, and then they have some new management that took over, and
they saw a bunch of us about to be 7 stars, and they're like, "Let's change the rules."
Well, that's it. Mm-hmm. You hit it on the head.
Because I was one of them.
I was 7-star just from that alone, just from my sports betting alone in a month. And they said, "Oh no, wait a minute, we can't do this. Forget about it." Also, I like something you said during the break we were talking. Just to say, we don't do this stuff just on air. Their management still feels they're too big to fail. They really do.
Yes.
The situations happen. Like Gill goes to the counter, goes to bet something. They change the odds on him and say it's less odds, and they know he's going to be on talking about it, and big mouth Krackomberger is going to be talking about it, and they don't care. They don't care. They think they're too big to fail.
That was the NBA draft. The Reed Shepherd to go number 1. It was 50-1. They took my money. Then it spun. Bam, 25-1. And I didn't bet it just on principle, but I'm like, you guys can't. Like, I was infuriated, right? You can't do this. This is like should be illegal 101. You can't do this, and they can always just say this is their way to get out of it. Oh, someone just betted at another property, on the other side of town just at this very moment. They didn't say that to me, but that's always their out.
That's always their out.
That's always their out.
It is. And they're not the only ones to do that, by the way. That's happened to me at other casinos in town.
Okay, this has to be eradicated. Like that's the one thing that you cannot be allowed to do as a book.
And we have voices. What about all the people that don't have voices?
Exactly.
Right?
And we've affected change before with different things, but that one, man.
Yeah. And you can't go to gaming.
No.
Because gaming, you're lucky you find a gaming agent that I always say that knows 11 to 10. Never mind that. They got it in another property,
Kangaroo court. Let me tell you about it. By the way, a lot of this, I just want to say it because it's not the same thing, but it just jogged my memory. You talk about comps with casino gaming. The way that sports books offshore, right, would profile you was always very accurate. Even if you went 15-0, but I went 7-8, I've said this many times, but I got the best of the number.
Right.
They will profile me as likely to be more successful moving forward if you got the worst of it more often than not, even though in the short term you had the better record, which is very interesting because if I say that to Greg Chrissy Andrews, my mishpucha who runs the South Point, he will say, not for me. I just want to know who wins and who loses. He's a very black and white thing. So
that's a rare property.
It's a rare property.
Yeah, no, it really is. And, and lastly, before we go to break here, I'll tell you, for those sports books that do think they throw us out, let me tell you something. None of you throw us out. We're always going to be back in. It doesn't matter. Just going to take a little while for you to know this is a sharp account. Oh, by the way, then you got to give us a bonus too. Thank you for that.
None of us. I just like that he said that. More with the Crack Man Unscripted on the other side. We'll read your tweets. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Looking for some action? Our friends at First Bet have you covered. Sign up today to unlock exclusive promotions, plus watch and wager on hundreds of exciting horse races every day from across the country and around the world. Sign up at firstbet.com. That's the number 1stbet.com. Use promo code VSiN200 to claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days, up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today. Megapod after numbers game today. The Beating the Book podcast, Megapod with Todd Wishnev, Will Hill, and me. And the rotating guest today, the great Brent Musburger. Looking forward to that. Brent Musburger gracing our presence for his annual appearance coming to us from Montana. So we're very excited about that. That will take place, and we'll get it up for your download as soon as possible. The Beating the Book Megapod. We get tweets at Beating the Book. This is from, let's see, Let's start with the numbers, guys. Regarding South Point, am I wrong? I'm just thinking back to the Vegas Insider podcast. Can't you get a spot in the sports book on a Sunday or even the Super Bowl without having to pay to reserve a spot? Yes. If you show up first, you get a seat.
Yes. But
That does not exist on the Strip anymore.
No. And you probably have to show up very early, I would think.
You do.
like AM?
But it's still
right?
free.
Early AM?
That's right.
Yeah.
Kyle D. Great advice about the holidays and being in the moment with family. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law is always yelling, so the TV is cranked to 11.
Love that.
Derby Day. Wise words from Bill Krackomberger. My uncle passed last year. He was the glue of our family. Tough to appreciate the fond memories when you're young, the laughs, long talks, playing blackjack, smack talking, watching the NBA Christmas games.
Beautiful. That's exactly it.
Tom K. I finally was asked after 4 years why I had a do not disturb between 11 to 12 Eastern on Thursdays every week. Didn't really have a good answer. Saying I had a crack problem seemed risky. Does seem
crack
risky.
problem.
NJD107 _ Curious why MGM. Oh, this is a good question. Curious why MGM in platinum. So he has platinum. My wife is Pearl, several tiers down. And she's recently been getting better offers and rooms than me. Curious if Bill has an answer to that.
So, in other words, does it say that she has the lower tier?
She has the lower tier.
But she may have given a bigger play. In other words, she may have played something like the reels where you're playing something like video poker, which the casinos definitely know what game you're playing. Or she gave a longer session. I would think there's more to that. By her getting an offer than just you guys sit side by side, and by the tier of that you are, if anything, by the tier they want to keep you happier being a higher tier. So I would think it's probably by the games that she played, the hours she played, the theoretical she earns.
Master of Puppets. I will not say the hotel, but sometimes your personal relationship with your host matters. I bet sports, so my comps are light, yet my host will comp 2-bedroom suites, take me to dinner, and comp bottle service. Of course, she's always taken care of after.
Ooh, a she. I like that because that means she gambles. That's good. And you know, not I like that. But however, let me just tell you something else. You want to take care of your host too, and you know that's something that's this is a real risky subject here, Gill. Ooh, you mean take care? Yes, take care of your host. Listen, I know that a lot of them aren't supposed to take the money, but they take the money in an envelope, fold it up in a nice way, or gift cards. Want to give them? You don't want to.
You're a big gift card guy.
Yeah, give them the gift cards.
Yeah.
Give them a couple $100 in Walmart gift cards. Everyone goes to Walmart. Yes, but what that person's saying, I was told from someone else. So the host, looking at the sports bets, are giving out comps maybe comparable to those type of buy-ins and those type of bets at a blackjack or crap table. So I've been told that before. So whoever you're using there, keep that good work up and don't show them this clip.
Yeah, the things that we hit on it earlier, but everyone deserves a host. And everyone should get, graded if they want to, or rated at a blackjack table. Like, you're allowed to do that if you want to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Charlie D, USA #1. You're all just our guests, he says. From the famous line from...
I love that, from Casino.
From Casino. Always share the family traditions, and they live on forever. ANG makes its listeners feel like friends and family. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie.
Very nice. Very nice.
Torch D, they'll never get rid of us, Crack Man. Every time I get limited on a book, my wife signs up for an account, and the bonuses are nice.
I hate to say it like that. I hate that. I know a lot of the other shows I do, the guests, the host kind of cringes sometimes. You don't, of course, but I'm saying, oh my God, you're talking about bearding into sports books. Yes, but it's a little bit harder for me when your name is Krackomberger. A little bit tougher for me to beard in, Oh, Mrs. Krackomberger, that must not be related to Bill.
Oh, Mrs. Krackomberger.
Yeah.
Jordan Pagel, Circa Properties have always been very good to us with comps, way better than anyone else. Their customer service leaves a lot to be desired at certain times.
Certain times it's casinos everywhere. But no, and if Circa's good with you, that means a lot with the comps. If they're good to you on the comps and stuff, then you have to stick with that property. You always want to give loyalty or brand loyalty to where they're good to you.
He's all about Circa. And then they just keep on going. Kelly had one more, by the way. We don't want to leave out Kelly here. He said, and this is just a hypothetical. He said, oh, this is a good question because he's sort of parroting what others are asking. Why does free play change so much at different places? Is it normal for it to become less during this time of year?
Wow, less. I would think it'd be more this time of the year. This is our slow time, the next 30 days. The winter time is slower here, so the pools are closed. People don't come out there with vacation more. I would think you get more right now, but the free play changes based on. Let me give you an example. South Point, based on your loss. So if you have losses, you're going to get more free play. If you have more wins, listen. As much as I love South Point, they are one of the properties that you really have to show a loss because they don't really comp winners like they comp losers. So that's one. Two, you're depending on the property, that particular cycle runs either 30 days or it can run a quarter, 90 days. And your loss during that period, not only your volume, but your loss during that period also will dictate your promotions and your cash offers, not your cash back, your cash offers. So
we also have a listener, and I will not give his name because I don't want to mess up his current situation. But he says he's been getting these offers from a casino for years, and he has not gambled at this casino for years. He used to do a lot back in the day, but he doesn't know if he's like a glitch in the system that he hasn't been taken out of the database. But like 5-6 years later, they're still sending him all these offers, and he's like, "Please don't ever say my name or the place." I was like, "I won't."
Yeah.
But I wonder if you've heard of that also.
Yeah, that can go for a while, and once you don't. Let me give you an example of something else too. That just happened to me. So Fontainebleau, who it's a struggling property here in Las Vegas, supposedly, and it is. You can go through that place. You can walk in there some certain nights. It's like, wow, how are they surviving?
Listen,
here?
If you want the ambiance of a Miami International Airport in 1973, that's your place.
But so I went in there because my buddy Randy said, "Hey, you got to give them a big play. They're giving good offers." That's good for out of state, maybe. But I gave him a big play in state, and I got $50 a week. And I was like, what? $50? Now, I did not go back to get the $50 each month, 2 months straight. Didn't even go step in the property and play again. And now they just raised it to $100. Like, all right, you didn't go for the 50, here's $100. So now they're giving me $100 a week. So it does change from property to property, though, from time to time. It's amazing the subject we can get. I didn't think I was coming here talking about casinos at all.
We just had like a flood of
but
questions.
It's important to people. People that are sports bettors also naturally are casino players, or they were at once. So
yeah. About sports and about Survivor specifically, have you invested this year like you did last year?
I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know how many people are left. I'm totally out of it.
105 entries.
There's 105 left?
105 left out of 14,266 here at Circa. So $14.2 plus million. 105 entries left. Last year, you were super into this.
Yes.
I want to say we're a little early
still
in terms of the calendar when you got involved, if I'm not mistaken. Do you remember when you got involved last year?
Around week 13. Probably.
Around week 13. Yeah. So a couple of weeks shy of that. Do you think you will this year?
Just got a text last night, 2:35. Hi, Bill. Hope you're doing well. I have a couple of guys who have a Survivor entry still alive and are interested in selling off a percentage of their ticket. So I thought I'd check with you first to see if you and your colleagues might be interested. So now this just happened, but I'm gonna talk about what Fez told me, because I asked Fez about it immediately. He goes, "We're interested if we get it." Not for a premium, the other way, a discount.
So this is the issue. This is what I was going to get at. So last year, and Fezzik will correct me if I'm wrong, but he was basically buying in for about 75 cents on the dollar.
Yes.
This year, and we noted this in that market, in that, what is that, the marketplace, that you're having to buy in at a premium.
I see that on that site.
So, it's a completely different economic environment on this thing.
Yeah, so we're probably not going to do it this year.
No
because
interest.
of that site,
we're
probably not going to do it this year. But let me just tell you something. If you have an entry, so it's 100 entries, so it's worth a lot of money.
135,000.
135,000. So if you want to sell half of it, though, for, I don't know, $47,000, you only have $1,000 invested. Maybe we'd be interested in talking to you or something. But
this at a premium stuff is a brand new thing this year.
Yeah, but I don't know if people are going to buy 50% of an entry.
I agree.
So to have some people like Fez and I who, will come to you with a nice bucket full of money and in your face,
Let's continue with that. On the other side, Numbers Game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up, top of the show, or actually the top of the hour. After a numbers game, Stormy Bonatoni with Money Moves, top of the hour, 12 to noon, followed by, of course, John Hansen, and then with prop points. Then, of course, Adam Shine from 3 to 4 Eastern with Make It Rain. That's coming up after a numbers game here at the top of the hour. G-Bank, best bets of the day. G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. Always appreciate, again, every host, every guest, every sport. You can find all their plays at vsin.com/picks for subscribers. But we always review, as does every show here on the network, our best bets of the day, courtesy of the good folks at G-Bank, and that is no different today. Again, Steph Curry MVP for me, 50 to 1 and 40 to 1. I am on the Saints. That's my only football play that I have in pocket so far. Literally the only play I've made. I might jump on Washington tonight at plus 3.5. I don't love it, to be honest with you, necessarily, but if I would bet one way or the other, that's what it's going to be tonight. Kelly had a couple. He's on the Mavericks tonight, the only NBA game that is on the slate tonight. It is just a mini slate of one game. Mavericks, he's laying 8.5 versus the Jazz, and he couldn't resist any longer after Giannis dropped 59 last night. He took Giannis Antetokounmpo as MVP at 35 to 1 in the NBA. And then Zach, part of the Zach and Crack show, Zach Cohen had the Mavs also laying the points tonight against the Jazz on Sunday. And the most marquee of all matchups in the NFL, he's got the Bills minus 2.5 versus the Chiefs. And then, of course, he's got BYU. He's the only one brave enough, ladies and gentlemen, to take BYU laying the 2.5 points against Kansas. Tim Murray among the brigade that is taking Kansas. He took him plus the points versus BYU. He's on the Bills versus the Chiefs. I took the money line, and he's on the Tennessee team total under 17.5 points versus Georgia. Those are your G-Bank best bets of the day, courtesy of G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. The G-Bank Visa Signature Card is your best bet, delivering 1% cashback rewards on eligible gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all other eligible purchases. For more information, head to vsin.com/Gbank. That's VSIN.com/Gbank. Subject credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. It's Gill Alexander, Bill Krackomberger, unscripted with the Crackman here on a numbers game. You can follow Bill on Twitter at Bill Crackman with a K. The name of his podcast is Wisecracks, which he does with his buddy John Orlando. There is one sporting event, Bill, that we have not discussed.
Yes.
Which is...
Have you discussed it at all during the week?
At all. We have not at all until this moment.
Probably the biggest exposure sports books have, which I didn't realize.
This is why we're bringing it up.
I didn't realize until I interviewed one of the director of risk from one of the sports books. He said, I can't get any Jake Paul money.
So this is...
It's all Mike Tyson money.
And this is tomorrow night, not Saturday night.
Tomorrow night,
yeah.
He's got like 8 figures upside down.
We're talking about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. 58-year-old Mike Tyson against 27-year-old Jake Paul. Now, the odds that we're showing right there are Jake Paul minus 210 and Mike Tyson plus 170 on the comeback. I'm seeing, well, I don't know. I'm looking offshore.
Like 275. Yeah. What are you looking on? The
offshore, I'm looking at minus 240 plus 200. So it's right in that pocket somewhere. Yeah. This is 8 rounds of boxing, 2 minutes per round.
Right.
The over-under's 5.5 rounds with the over slightly juiced. Will the fight go the distance? The no is heavily juiced at minus 195. And will there be a first round, first minute finish among the props? Yes, 20 to 1.
I mean, is this wrestling? Is this fixed? I don't know. Like 20 to 1 seems like a lot. I don't know. Like it can't. Someone can't. Tyson, the old Tyson, would come in there and rip somebody apart. But I mean, I guess it's not Bone Crusher Smith this time. But
there's Mike Tyson winning round props. You see rounds 1 through 8. The 8th round being the longest shot of the bunch at 80 to 1. Decision or technical decision at 10 to 1. The draw is 8 to 1. Please don't be a draw. But okay, so explain the exposure part though. So
I'm actually going to read an email too. But this is from BetMGM actually. Below are betting insights from BetMGM. Jake Paul for Mike Tyson. We expect the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight to be the most bet-on boxing match in MGM history. MGM history. That's unbelievable.
More than McGregor Mayweather.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. More than it really is. That had to be. This can't be.
This more can't than be. Can it? Come on.
That's sick.
Mayweather McGregor.
That was giant. People flew here from all over the world.
For those who were not around then, was a seminal moment in sports betting history. We couldn't believe, right, that this cross-sport thing which was a boxing match, right? Conor McGregor, known from UFC, from mixed martial arts, coming to box Floyd Mayweather. And you're right, people flew in. And it was in
Vegas.
Weekend.
This fight's in Texas, Arlington, Texas, I think. I mean,
maybe the answer to that question, though, is that sports betting has been legalized since then. So there's so many places that you can bet it now.
Maybe
that
not
obviously,
in Texas, though. But
so it's they kind of win by that.
I don't know the amounts, but for this to be in Arlington, Texas alone, rather than Las Vegas, there had to be so much money thrown. I don't know if Jerry Jones is involved in this. They had to throw them so much more money there to have that fight, to host the fight, than Las Vegas. So this is a big cash grab for both, too, obviously. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, bettors want to see Paul get knocked out and love Tyson as an underdog. The book will be rooting for Paul to win. We'll be greatly rooting for Paul to win. I'm reading the email. And they cannot get any money on the other side. Mike Tyson, the most bet tickets they're having is Mike Tyson by KO, TKO, or DQ, plus 250. Mike Tyson on points, plus 11-1. Mike Tyson to win round 1 at 14-1. That doesn't sound right. To win a round at 14-1?
Have you talked to Teddy Atlas about this at all?
I haven't. Teddy put out his podcast yesterday. I'm going to watch to see what he said about this.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I won't be here next Thursday because I'm going to Teddy's event.
Okay.
In Staten Island, New York, so I'll be gone next week. But if we could do a couple segments, that'd be great. But I haven't. You know what? I'm going to listen to that podcast now. I can always text him too, but I'm just saying.
This is 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Those of us of a certain age remember the time in our lives where Mike Tyson was at the height of his powers, right? Where he was the baddest man on the planet, could not only beat everybody, but could knock out everybody. Became really just like, how early could he knock out everybody, until 1990 and the Buster Douglas upset, of course. Yeah. And then things changed. But in the late 80s, there was nothing like this. And so, 58 years old, those of us of a certain age, and I'm just trying to tap into the sentiment, those people can't remove the muscle memory of that, right, and are like, oh my God, 58 Schmifty Fate, he's going to do this. He's going to beat a 27-year-old Jake Paul, who is like, a Schmendrick compared to him in terms of his boxing skill. But Jake Paul's been at this for a little while too.
Yes.
So he's not like
Have you seen Jake Paul?
Oh, he's huge.
I ran into him. I was like, I can't believe I didn't know he was big like that.
Oh yeah.
Not that means anything. Frank Bruno was big.
Right.
And he
one of Tyson's opponents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love boxing. I really do. So, yet. Now, I believe, I heard this yesterday. I still don't even know. First of all, this is like, I forgot this was happening, and it's happening on a Friday instead of a Saturday.
And by the way, free to Netflix.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Free to Netflix.
I heard it was free.
Well, it's not free. If you have a Netflix.
Who doesn't have Netflix?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But if you have a Netflix subscription, it is free to you. It's not a pay-per-view situation. You just have to be a subscriber to Netflix.
80% of the tickets, this is at BetMGM with this email, 80% are on Tyson. My buddy, Bernie Fratto just texted me. 60,000 people in attendance in Arlington, sold out. There's 7 fights on the card, but sold out. Of course it's going to be sold out. This shocks me. I think it's going to drop more. Okay. Opened up minus 325, down to minus 210 at BetMGM. That's all I have. It just seems like to me.
How much in the hole right now are some casinos?
Oh, like I said, they're eight figures. The guy I know.
8 figures.
Back east.
There's no chance they're going to be able to get off that between now and fight time.
But you said something, I look at it. How can the offshore market be minus 260 and 250? I'm looking right here.
Yeah.
And yet the local market, there's BetMGM 210. This is interesting because I respect some of the offshore market.
The offshore is not as low.
I respect some of them. So,
are you betting it?
I will be betting Jake Paul.
You're betting Jake Paul.
Why? Because God protects the bookmakers. So, yeah.
That's your reasoning on this?
Absolutely.
You might be right.
I don't have to know anything about
that. Might be the best handicap there is. I just want to be
on the bookmaker side.
What? It's sad to me though, because if you grew up loving Mike Tyson or watching Mike Tyson, you don't want to see this happen if it's bad, right?
Well, these kids think different of Mike Tyson. I know a little bit more. I'm around Teddy Atlas, so
yeah. I
know a little bit more about Mike Tyson than most. These kids, they see him on The Hangover, and they say, oh, he's so cool and stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone, I understand, deserves a second, third, fourth, fifth chance, I guess.
What do you believe Teddy's thoughts will be on this?
I believe that, I don't know anything about it yet, but I would believe that Teddy might just go for like a draw or something. Oh, don't forget. When Tyson fought, he fought someone recently.
There was a draw. There was
Jones.
Roy Jones Jr.
Tyson destroyed him. Draw. And they said, oh, yeah, it was a charity match, a draw. And there was bets. DraftKings was taking bets on this. So I don't know how this is going to go down. Proceed with caution. I totally forgot about that Jones fight with Tyson. So
8-1 on the draw, by the way. Proceed with caution. Maybe the best words of advice on this. We've done all we can do. Stormy is next. She will be joined by the great Matt Brown for Money Moves. Coming up right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Enjoy.